Hey guys, welcome back to the ocean. I'm Theory Chum, and this is Chum. That is a Fiona wire. And today we are here to talk about something new, something exciting, something that's gonna tingle your bingles. And that is the new leaks of the Click Team shown game for Five Nights at Freddy's. It has been confirmed to be real. It is confirmed that it is for a Five Nights at Freddy's game. And I'm here to tell you guys I already know what the game is. With, I want to say, about 85% certainty. We're going to talk about that today. So let's go ahead and talk about what I'm talking about. On Twitter, we got a post from Goty Rose. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. You will see them here on screen. And they made a post over a Click Team design creator who had released designs for a FNAF game. This was later confirmed, as well as later confirmed to be real. It was later confirmed to be legit by Phil LeBrave as well. So in these images, we got four images, and they are all of a FNAF 1 scenario. So out of those four images, two of them matter today, and we're going to be looking at one of them. The two of them that matter are going to be these two. The one that we're going to be looking at specifically is this one. You're asking why? Because what if I told you that there is a repeating theme that is staring you down in the face and you don't even know it? You may think to yourself, well, Theory Chum, I see the eyeballs. We all know that the glowing eyes are a repeating theme in FNAF. Except that's not what I'm talking about. Do you see the little stack of screens over there in the corner? That is what we're talking about because those screens give me a very vital piece of information about what's going on in these images. And by knowing that, I can deduce what the game is going to be using some additional facts that we've gotten lately, such as Scott on Doco's stream saying that he's working on a sequel right now, a 2, not a 3. And that's going to be a huge play into this. But before we get into that, before we go into that, you may be wondering, Dear John, why does a random stack of monitors mean anything? And I would understand if it was just random stacks of TV monitors in all different ways and every single time that they were shown. However, I want you to look at exactly how these three monitors are set up because there is a very significant importance about that. Today we're going to be talking about cubes. And we're going to be talking about this in Nexus Maker Part 3 and the 4 Games 1 Story video as well. Cubes are important because we see a lot of cube objects, and I believe that these objects are referring to the storage shelves at the bottom of the Nexus, such as the chest that we put the David's toys into in Moon.exe, and then we get David going into M2. Or the treasure chests from Friendship Theory and Clavis Key from Fazer Blast and the Help Wanted games. The TV screens, the monitors, those are cubes that were also included in this. Arcade machines, we're going to be looking at those today because there's another set of three for that. So, there's also going to be the Fredbear and Friends on Tour cartoon that has the same symbolism. Let's go ahead and break all of that down. First, I want to take you guys, and we're going to look at the examples that are directly related to this specific setup. Two monitors on the bottom with a monitor on top. And the first game we're going to go look at right here is going to be Sister Location. In Sister Location, we actually see the Fredbear plush leaning up against these three screens with a baby poster in the background. The next game we're going to be looking at is Into the Pit by MegaCat Studios. Here we can see we go into a back room as Oswald, and then we see three screens, two on bottom, one on top, with a little two extra there for detail, right next to Golden Freddy. I also want to take note here that if you go back and look at the title screen, you see that we're actually playing this game in universe on one of these screens. This game is being generated onto the TV. Let's go ahead and continue on here. The next one we're going to be looking at isn't even a game. It's a cartoon, the Fredbear and Friends on tour teasers for Security Breach, where we see a van driving around, and on top of those vans, we get three boxes with one on top. Doom, boom, same setup again. I also want us to go ahead and take a look while we're here at Help 1 and 2, where we see that the nexus has been in the back of a van. I'm already giving it away where I'm going to be getting with this, and we're going to get to why that's important later, but hold on to your britches for now. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at some examples that don't necessarily fit the two on bottom, one on top theme, but still kind of fit the same patterns, such as a group of three or the stacked screens being used to represent something. The first thing we're going to be looking at is FNAF 3, more specifically the end of night minigame, where we get to see William Afton in all of his pixelated glory get spring locked. And what do you see back there in the back room? You see three arcade machines, three squares, side by side to each other. Continuing on next, we're going to go look back into some visual media, not the games. We're going to look at the FNAF 2 movie, more specifically the opening credits. This scene, where the screens are stacked again. On top, you can see that you have the marionette whose hands are out, sticking out like they're controlling the ones on the bottom, and then I believe the three screens on the bottom are to show the programs and the shelving of the nexus that the puppet is controlling, which we know that the puppet controls those animatronics and their systems through wireless signals. We found that out in the movie as well. Another example is going to be moon.exe with David's chests themselves, where we put the ball, the blocks, and then the tiger plush. Three of them set up side by side. They actually line up really well with the bottom of the nexus. So those were a few of each examples that I wanted to bring up and try to show that this is a repeating and reoccurring thing. It's very heavily symbolizing the nexus, in my opinion. And there's another detail about the screens in this image that Gibby put in his video, so I'm gonna even let him explain it to you.
You know what else is identical to the FNAF 1 location? Secret of the Mimic. The basement, the Proto Freddy's, the area where you meet F10N4 in Secret of the Mimic, is identical to FNAF 1. This, let's just assume that this is the FNAF 1 proto location. Where we're currently staring is where F10N4 was set up at the end of Secret of the Mimic in the 1970s.
That's right. And the same place that these screens are located is where F10N4 was set up down in R&D in Secret of the Mimic. These screens and these setups being in these back office rooms consistently, constantly, are used to show the nexus itself, the machine. It's representative of the three shelves down at the bottom. And that gives us a huge piece of information just from this one picture. If these screens are how the nexus represents itself inside of its generated realities, we're looking at a generated reality. This isn't going to be in the real world of FNAF, the real world of FNAF. This game is going to be an agony-scape. We're going to see loop victim kind of things. We're going to see effects of agony, maybe some time jumping. Maybe we'll go and I think we might even see Chica's secret party, get a glimpse into the future from this point. You may say, now before we get to the final answer, I want us all to go ahead and narratively look at what's been happening in the games lately. In Secret of the Mimic, we have Edwin get blown up in an explosion, almost died, maybe have died, we don't know. And then we have Murray's Costume Manor burning down, catching fire, which comes from parachute.exe, which most people are leaning to being the continual ending of the game. With those two details, let's also remember the disagreement and clash between F10N4 and Edwin near the end of the game, whenever F10N4 was feeling like they were being ignored by Edwin, and then Edwin created M2 with his rage and made the murderous monster. From there, I think we can go ahead and remember the end of FNAF 6, where everything caught on fire. And then we got another game where everything was an agony-scape, and we got to relive old locations that we had seen in the games before. I believe the next game, again with about 85% certainty, is going to be Ultimate Custom Night 2. And we're going to see a struggle where we play as Edwin, and we're fighting against F10 and 4. That might be a lot to take in. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really liked it, swim your finger on over to the subscribe button. We're going to have more content dropping as I can get it out. We've also got some big things coming up soon, so you guys keep an eye out on all your favorite theorist channels. And if you're watching this today, make sure, today, June 13th, make sure that you're there for She's Always Nervous Pride stream tomorrow for the Pop charity. Make sure even if you cannot donate that you're showing up, because even everybody being there is going to bring in more people and everything helps. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. Until next time, keep floating in the ocean.